I want to switch gears a bit and talk about diversity, specifically as a capital allocation decision. You've said that investing in women is simply good business. If diversity were a capital project competing for funding, how would you build the investment memo for those listening?
I view diversity like any other investment decision in the sense of through a business performance lens. Diverse teams challenge assumptions. Diverse teams get better outcomes, better solutions. Diverse teams are a better representation of your customer and a representation of your investors. Like if you only have people like you around you, you will inevitably end up with groupthink. Like that can't be the best answer. True collaboration is about looking at all the different options and all of the different ways you can approach it and finding the best outcome for the company, for the team, for the customer, for the investor. But if you don't have diversity that comes into that starting point, how do you know that you've looked at all of the options? So for me, it's not just gender diversity, it's all levels of diversity. It's experience diversity, whether it's conscious or unconscious, your upbringing, your experiences, the way that you have worked, played, you spend time with your family, activities that you do, naturally, they influence you and your perspective on life. More importantly, the things you haven't experienced, the things you haven't done, the places you haven't been, the situations you haven't been in means they cannot influence you. So you need to surround yourself with that diversity of gender, of experience, of expertise, and be curious and listen to that perspective to ultimately get the best outcome and make the best decision.
I love how you said it's a better representation of your customer set. I've never thought about it that way.
We've been talking about small businesses. We have 5 million customers. How many of those 5 million customers are like me?
I don't know, probably half are at least women though.
Women who come from the UK, that live in the US, that have a finance background, probably not many. How do you represent that? But the gender piece is key. There are very clear differences between how women approach a problem, how women respond to something than men do. One of the things we were talking about earlier, imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is much higher and prevalent in women than it is in men. So when you're thinking about your customers, when you're thinking about how to get them to use your software, how you're thinking best how you can add value, those differences are important.
Can you think of a moment in your career where the group came to a different decision and a better outcome because the room was more diverse?
Earlier in my career, where I was in a room of mainly white men and 2 women, and we were debating financial decision. I mean, it was a more financial meeting, and we were debating a financial decision. And we had made a set of assumptions and modeling assumptions on consumer behavior. And the business had said, this is what we believe the consumers will respond. We had some data to support that, but not much. And then it wasn't me, I'm not going to take credit for it, but someone else in the room raised their hand and said, if I was going to see that marketing investment, etc., this is how I would respond, which was quite different, not completely different, but quite different, and would have driven a very different outcome if suddenly 50% of our consumers assumed a different outcome from this investment in this campaign that we were doing. We went away and said, okay, let's model, like from the finance side, let's model 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% of our customers respond this way versus this way. Does that change our decision in terms of how we would approach, how much we would invest, what path we would go down? And it did. You didn't even have to have 50% responding differently. You just had to have somewhere between 30 to 40% responding in a different way than we had anticipated. You would take a different path forward. I'm not going to take credit for it because I was there doing the analysis, doing the numbers. It's fairly early on in my career. The good thing is everyone listened. That was the thing. We had a room of people who were listening and paying attention. What's worse if someone puts their hand up and everyone's like, oh no, don't be silly.
It sounds like it's impacted how you build your own team today.
Completely. So I look at diversity on very many levels. I intentionally don't surround myself with people who are like me. Sometimes I intentionally go for the opposite. There's something in the UK called insights, and it's all about your energy colors and how you respond to certain situations. I have my energy colors, and I always try to look for a team that has a blend, and I always ensure that everyone has a voice. Some people are natural extroverts. Some people naturally will put their hand up and speak, and some people are not. And so it's my job as a leader to ensure that those who are naturally sit back and listen and observe and reflect, that they are called in and that I hear their opinion and perspective. Because there's no point having a diverse team who think differently, who have different experiences, who have gender diversity, if they don't speak up and if you don't listen.
Maximore, get your Maximore here. Sorry, I just came from selling Cracker Jacks at the ballpark. Everyone in finance is adopting AI right now. The problem? It's a dozen disconnected tools. Yeah, one for revenue, one for AP, one for the close, and each one needs training and documentation. And the expertise to run them lives in your head, not the systems. Maximore takes the opposite approach. One autonomous finance platform for the whole operation. Order to cash, procure to pay, the close, cash management, and reporting. It all runs on a unified finance context that pulls from your ERP, billing, banks, even email and Slack. No rip and replace. Maximore runs on self-learning agents that learn how your team already works. No prompts to wire, no workflows to build, nothing to document. Every output is audit ready, and when a call needs human judgment, it escalates for review because the agents optimize, not just execute, and your KPIs keep on improving. One PE-backed customer posted 98% of transactions straight to their ERP, no error rate. The other 2% go to a human before posting. You pay only for real outcomes, not seats. See it at maximore.ai. That is MAXIMOR.ai.